Recording in progress.
Welcome back, everyone. This is our cardio interval class. Now we are on week 8. Okay, so we have this week, next week, and then there's one more final week. And then, that calls it for the summer. That will conclude our, there's a grasshopper here. That will conclude our 10 weeks of summer term. So, what is going on with my phone? My apologies. Let me disconnect that. So, other than that, let's go ahead and get this warm-up going. Okay, so let's start by looking left to right. Left to right over here. Warm up. Get our cardio class going and get our heart pumping. Up and down. This thing is like 5 feet away from me. It's so loud. It hears me. Get out of there. Next circles. Switch. Let's go snow angels. I think tomorrow and Wednesday are supposed to be the warmest day this week, getting into the 90s now, so summer seems to have arrived finally. Ooh. Right, let's go ahead and reach up towards the ceiling. Let's lean right. Let's lean left. Let's go trunk rotation, so turn left to right. Over here, left to right. Ab circles, hinge at the hips, lean left, come across, pump back, continue. Big hula hoops next. Some big giant hula hoops. Switch. So just exaggerate those hips as far out as you're going. Let's go ahead and do some hip openers. So let's drive our right knee forward, out, down, back up, in, and down. We'll do 4 on each side. 2, 3, let's switch. Oh. Two, three, and last one. Very good. Let's go ahead and pull back on our ankle. So grab right above your ankle and pull back. Switch. A couple more. Let's do our hamstring stretch. So slide your hands down your shins, drop your hips, and then extend at the knees. And last one is our deep squat stretch. So drop down, hips down, torso upright. Excuse me. And back up. All right, very good. All right, so we'll get started with our cardio workout. Usually we start with that easier set, just some simple movements. As we progress into the workout, we'll add a little bit more challenging stuff in there, some squats, lots of legs. There's some lunges variations, some squat variations on that. And then if you're with me on the next class, that's the stability and posture class. So, we're gonna be doing more planks, more core on that. So really trying to stay away from that core. We've had cardio and core before, but this time it's just the cardio part, okay? So go ahead, have your water ready. Eventually we might get down to the floor and do some stuff. I would have at least like a yoga mat or some of it available just in case when we get those inchworms or some type of plank variation. We could do mountain climbers in there as well. So let's go ahead and grab your equipment. I don't think we're gonna need any dumbbells, but you could have some accessible to you if you like. So I'll give you a minute to grab those items and we'll regroup right now and begin. But yeah, have some water nearby. Hello, Mr. Ahmed.
Good morning.
Morning. All right. I saw that you enrolled in the class already for the fall. Appreciate that. Everyone else, I submitted the list to admissions and records, so hopefully they update that pretty soon as well for our classes. Okay. All right, so if you recall, we're gonna go ahead and start with our knee to opposite hip right here, then heel to opposite glute. Okay, then we're gonna go ahead and do side step jacks. So right here, side step jacks, still working on our lateral joints. Then we're gonna come to that frontal plane and go ahead and do our opposite toes. And then we'll do a progression high knee, which is gonna be the walk to the skip to the run of those, okay? All right, that's gonna be our first. And as we are reaching now towards the end of the class, so now we're asking for 50 seconds of work. So if you're feeling good, give me the 50 seconds. If you're a little bit not feeling so hot, then go for 30 to 40. Okay, so I try to make an announcement at the 30, 40, and 50-second mark. Okay, and we'll go with about 20 seconds rest in between. Alrighty? Alright, here we go. We're gonna go ahead, knee to opposite hip. Alright, ready? 3, 2, 1, and then go. So, right here. Pretty easy. If you want a little bit more out of this one, then do a skip. You could turn it into a skip. Go a little bit higher. But again, this is one of our warm-up sets. We're at 30 seconds. We're at 40. 45. And 50. All right. So 15 seconds rest. And go ahead and start the next one. All right, so next one's heel to opposite glute, okay? Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. So heel to opposite glute. You can always incorporate the arms as well. If your arms and shoulders are feeling a little bit tight, this will help with that. "35 seconds. All right, 40. 45. 3, 2, 1, and 50. All right. Heart's pumping. Feeling good. All right, side step jacks are next. Remember, side step jacks right here. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. We have jumping jacks later, so if this one's too easy, you could do jumping jacks right now, but we'll do jumping jacks later as well. "30 seconds. 40. 3, 2, 1, time. All right, arms got tired on that one. Okay, next we have our hand to opposite ankle. Okay, keeping those legs straight if possible. If not, you can always bend at the knee. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh, arms are tired today. 30 seconds. At 40. 50. Whew. Okay. What was our last one? Oh, our high knee progression. Okay. High knee progression. Start in 3, 2, 1, go. So 15 seconds. This is going to be 45 seconds. So spend 15 seconds of each one. I like doing this on the yoga mat. The skipping and the running are hard on my flat feet. Alright, skip. And run. Keep it going. Three, 2, 1, time. All right, so we get our 2 minutes rest. We're gonna move on to our next group of exercises. Okay, so it's gonna consist of hooks. So hooks are gonna be here, turn the body, come across. Okay, we got hooks. Then we have skater jumps. So skater jump side to side. Drop the hips a little bit if you can. Okay, then we have curtain closers. Punch and pull. Punch and pull. Alright, punch and pull. Then we have Heisman shuffle. 1, 2, 3, knee drive. 1, 2, 3, knee drive. And then after that, we have bunny hops, okay? So just like jump ropes. Alright, that's gonna be our 3 for this one. Okay, we have about 30 seconds left. Okay. Start off with those hooks. Remember, we're just coming up. So little twist of the hips and the feet, but you want to just make sure you bring those shoulders up. Alright, so there's a little bit more upper body mobility, which we don't get a lot of upper body action with cardio. Alright, it's mainly legs. So ready? 3, 2, 1, go. So keep it going. 25 seconds. We're at 30 seconds. $40 seconds. And time. All right, very good. Skater jumps are next. Alright, so skater jumps, remember we're here. So shifting your weight left to right, okay? While also bounding. Look at this. There we go. I need the fan directly at me. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and go. And just shift your weight from one side to the other. If that jumping's too much, then you could just almost tiptoe side to side. You're just going to be a little bit more weight bearing on each side of your body for a few seconds. All right, 30 seconds. $40 seconds. Keep moving. And time. Okay. Alright, curtain closer, so punch and pull and turn that leg, okay? Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. Good job, everyone. Keep it going. Only 3 more weeks of 6 days. Alright, 30 seconds. $40 seconds. 3, 2, 1, time. Whew. Alright, we have the Heisman shuffle with the knee drive and then bunny hops. Okay? Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. 1, 2, 3, knee drive. 1, 2, 3, knee drive. Skip, 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 knee drive. We're at 30 seconds. $40 seconds. 3, 2, 1, time. Woo! Feeling like jelly. Bunny hops, okay? So remember, like you're on jump ropes, just on your toes, right here. If that's too much, you could just do calf raises, okay? It's not gonna get your cardio going as much, but it still will activate your calves. So, but just, keep that in mind. You're eliminating that heart pumping effect. 3, 2, 1, go. So just jump roping over here. There, 25 seconds. $35. Just keep going. 40. Three, 2, 1, time. All right, that's our second block. All right, so 2 minutes rest. Grab your water. Okay. All right, so this is the one that's a little bit more intense because this is the variations of squats and lunges. So this also feels like a lifting day, if you would say. So we have plyometric lunges. So that's when we're here, get that static lunge, and you're gonna jump. Okay, so a little bounce. If that jumping seems like too much, then what I want you to do is just a static lunge. Okay, again, same thing. Both movements work your muscles. The little jumping one, the one with the jumping, is gonna activate your calves a little bit more and pump your heart a little bit more. Okay, so the goal is to do 25 seconds on each leg for a total of 50. Okay, then we have pop squats. So pop squats, we're gonna go here. Okay, pop squats. Then we have our leapfrogs. If you're with me on Saturday, we tried to do these for a second before we changed our minds, so we do those. Okay, then we have sumo squat jacks. Okay, so that's here. Okay, and then over the line. This is the one that recovers your breathing a little bit, and then we're just doing hops over an imaginary line on the floor. Okay, if you want to work on your ankles a little bit more, you could do one ankle at a time, but I find that right now my feet are a bit tender. I'm going to stick with the 2 feet, but that's also an option. All right, we have 15 seconds. Drinking a lot of water right now. All right, so remember, we have our static lunges where we're jumping for a few. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, and go. So again. Three, 2, 1, time. We're gonna switch sides. Okay, shake the legs off a little bit. All right, position yourself. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, and go. It goes here. Ten more seconds. Three, 2, 1, time. Oof, these legs feeling like jello. Alright, pop squats, okay? If these get tiresome, you could switch them just to air squats, okay? Already feeling my quads. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Keep it going. 30 seconds. Forty seconds. Alright, at 200 calories. And 50 seconds. Oh, yeah, I could already tell a difference in adding those 5 seconds, even 10 seconds from last week. I think the reduced amount. Alright, leapfrogs. So remember, if you want to get most out of it, you'll do a wide stand leapfrog. But if you want to go more narrow stance, you could also do that. That's going to work more on your calves, okay? Further your legs are from each other, you're going to get quads, hamstrings, and glutes a little bit more. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and go. 1, 2, 3, and go back. 1, 2, 3, come back. If you get tired, you can switch it up. 1, 2, 3, come back. Oh, I felt my quads on those. 1, 2, 3. Slowing down. 30 seconds. Got 40 seconds. 3, 2, 1, time. Whew. Job. Sumo squat jacks. Whew. I'm out of breath already. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Ten seconds. You know I'm tired when I'm counting that 10 seconds. When you're tired, the worst thing you could do is look at the clock. 30 seconds. $40. Three, two, one, time. Oh. Over the line. Alright. Alright, over the line. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. So just, it's like a bunny hop, but you could drop back down to your heels. And again, the shift from left to right. You don't want to move your whole body, more that lower body. So it's a little bit more intense on your ankles. 30 seconds. $40 seconds. Got a little dance going on over here. 3, 2, 1, time. Oh. Anyone else tired? Or is it just me? I think it's just me, huh? Okay. We're close to being done, okay? Right, so we have inchworms. Okay, so inchworms, you're here. Come back up. And we'll add a jump in there, okay? Alright, Josefina's tired too. Good. Alright, and then after that, after the inchworms, we're gonna do a reverse lunge kick. Which is gonna be 30 seconds on each leg. And 30 seconds on the other. Then we're gonna go ahead and go with mountain climbers. So we're here. Alright. And then we'll finish off with jumpy jacks. So 4 on this one. How's everyone doing? Pretty good? We're close to already bring the same amount as our walk on Saturday. So, all right, here we go. Inchworms. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so crawl onto a hand plank, come up, and then give me a jump. Don't worry, if you feel like this is still not a lot, just come back at 10 o'clock. We'll make sure you get your total. 40 seconds. Can't even talk. 3, 2, 1, time. I wasn't gonna make it down there. Alright, reverse lunge kicks are next. Remember, this one's third. We'll go 30 seconds on each leg. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. So reverse lunge and kick. Oh, almost fell over. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Switch. So just switch to the other leg. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. Woo. Mountain climbers. Okay. So we're on the floor. We have 2 more. Mountain climbers. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Go. So just high plank. Get the knee drive towards the chest. Got 30 seconds. Forty seconds. 3, 2, 1. Time. Alright, last one's jumping jacks. Ooh, I'm dripping sweat on my yoga mat. Almost there. Almost at 300 calories. 3, 2, 1. Go. Just keep moving. Seconds. 40 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Time. Alright. High fives. Woo! I think that was one of our more intense. At least it was for me. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a little bit more tired than usual. Ooh, okay, comments. I like comments. Okay.
The rest of the week is going to be crazy with the weather.
Yeah. So.
I think it's the heat.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
So, let's just. I'm gonna do some hip circles. I don't want to sit down quite yet, but I do want to stretch a little bit. I remember when we were trying to arrange this walk, a lot of folks said they would be traveling this weekend, or at least busy. But is that still happening with some folks? So.
Yes. Tomorrow. Up there.
Oh yeah, Shavana, yeah, we spoke for sure. Debbie, yeah. Ella, I think might be. Carmen, are you traveling?
I leave Wednesday.
No.
Okay, Wednesday. So let's switch. So let's see what the schedule looks like on Friday and Saturday. Because I'm also open. I have a little bit more freedom on Friday and Saturday because I could always swap one of the classes a little bit earlier if we wanted to, just to avoid the heat. And I'd be willing more to swap the 10 a.m. one to like 8 a.m. So instead of meeting 9 to 11, we meet from like 8 to 10.
That would be nice.
If that makes sense. So I'll make that announcement. Let's go ahead and switch here. And yeah, just to avoid the heat. And I think, the last Saturday of the summer, I may have to cut it short too because I have to travel a little bit early because I have that night race, that evening race. So I have to do some traveling that day. But nonetheless, we'll still get this whole week and yeah, and if for some reason this is enough for you for the day and you're like, I'm okay without the next class, I totally get it, because this weather, I mean, I would do the same too. Sometimes I like to start a little bit earlier, and especially in the summers. So, oof. I was trying to get out tomorrow and do like an afternoon run when it's warm, because my race is happening. I'm gonna stretch out my toes a little bit during the heat. But the Spain and France game is going on too, so I gotta watch.
When are they playing tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yeah, the games are at 12 tomorrow, and I think on Wednesday I hope at 2. So, but yeah. Alright folks, that's plenty. Like I said, we matched the same amount of calories and the 30 minutes of actively working out as we did in like our hour walk. So yeah, so time is money sometimes when it comes to burning calories, and I think we got that. So if you have the next class, I'll see you in a few minutes. So alright, hydrate and stretch a little bit if you're not coming back. Alright folks, see you. Yes.